Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.
My name's Mick Coyle. Welcome to Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk. Once again, we're sitting down in a radio studio and talking about mental health. We've got two gents in the studio today who are going to be talking about their sheds. This is a passion project from a gentleman called Colin Keith, who joins us all the way from the Widnes Men's Shed Project. Colin, it's great to see you. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks, and it's good to be here.
Hey, not a problem at all. Thanks for your interest in the show, and thanks for getting in contact with us as well. When you emailed in, I thought that's absolutely perfect. That's what Mental Health Monday is all about. We're here to talk about the Widnes Men's Shed Project, but this is something that in Halton, you've been involved in with the Haven Hospice.
I have, yeah.
Just tell us about when you first came up with the idea for men and sheds, the perfect combination for many people.
Yeah, it started a while back ago. I sort of went for the coordinator's job in Halton Haven Hospice, and I knew very little about it, but I come from the background. I was able to bring the transferable skills to the job, and that was specifically for men who had been bereaved or who were about to be bereaved. And it was it was quite shocking, really, because the membership shot up to 20 new members within a couple of weeks. Within 6 months, we were up to 60. It was growing arms and legs. It was growing really big. The men were having a lot of say in what was needed because it was a new project. So I needed to know which direction we're going in. And before we knew it, we had allotments, we had guitars, we had men coming in who'd lost their wives, who didn't know how to cook. So men who could cook were showing men who couldn't. There was men who come in and started a photography group, and there was some men who just wanted to come and sit and have a coffee and read a paper or a book and just talk, because they never had the skills to do the other jobs. The overriding thing was we had a joiner's workshop. So the men started making things out of the wood that was donated by local businesses. And one of the things that evolved from it quite organically was we started a Man Friday group. And that was where men would turn up voluntary. Everything was voluntary. And we'd sit and talk about the usual stuff of football and work and what we did. But then it would start addressing the more serious issues of losing your wife or being on your own, or the issue of isolation come in, or loneliness and depression. So while there was men there who were doing really well with what was going on in their life, there was a lot of men out there who were struggling. And it was when I researched it and found more stuff out about it, I realised that there was very few, if any, projects for men only. It grew and it grew. I run my own little small sole operators business. I decided to leave for a number of reasons, but I missed the men's shed. I missed doing it. So we set up the one in Widnes, and we're up to we got about 30 members on the books. The difficulty we're having is we're a social community group right now where we just meet, talk and chat and drink coffee, and we are desperate for a workshop. We've been offered porta cabins by a company in Runcorn, Wernichaya has offered us them, but we're desperate for either a piece of land, a small piece of land, or a workshop where we can develop it further. The shocking thing is, when I looked at the population of Merseyside, it's something like 1.3 million people. And out of them, it's a rough estimate, there's 100,000 males. And in terms of what's available for them, is very little. And there's a need for a men's project to be right across Merseyside. I obviously can't be involved in all of it. I'm leading on the one in Widnes. But if there's any men out there who would like to maybe get a group of men together across the region to set up something similar, I'm more than happy to help them the best I can.
I mean, that specific sort of group of men over the age of sort of 55 who you might be able to reach out with, what do you get a sense that they benefited from having those sessions that you've been organising at Halton Haven, through workshops, through the joinery classes? What were they getting out of it? Outside of, trinkets and things that they were making, what was the benefits that they were seeing?
I think the main thing was companionship. A lot of the men who are 40 plus have retired or no longer working, and it's replacing the workplace in a funny sort of way, where men historically have worked side by side and talked, so they get companionship from it. What shocked me was the amount of men, like Keith, who's with me today, who's got so much skills, experience, and knowledge on subjects that it's wasted. And it gives the men a sense of purpose back in their life.
We'll bring Keith into the conversation in just a few moments' time. Colin Chorley's with us to talk about the Widnes Men's Shed Project and the help that they require as well. We'll repeat some of those sort of calls to arms as well. Psychologically, I'm no psychologist, but this has come up time and time again on the show, that men in and of themselves, particularly men of a certain age, bottle things up and don't talk about it. But if you create an environment whereby their skill set can be used, whereby they can do something else and they can be sort of almost tricked into talking about their mental health, they actually then quite willingly open up. And actually, this is another example, is it not, of the fact that when you get men in the right environment, those stigmas that exist around discussing your mental health, grief, how you're actually feeling, do fall away.
Yes, they really do. And one of the things we state is we talk about confidentiality and data protection, and the men's develop trust and friendship with each other. So after a few weeks, they start saying, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z, and they help each other through that. But for me, the key is this. Men don't need people, and I'm one of them. I don't need somebody to say to me, I'm going to help you and make you better. What the project does is the message goes out to the men in the region to say, can you help the project? Can you come into our project and bring whatever skills, knowledge and experience you have in your life and develop this project of a group of men, help us get established, help us get a workshop and contribute and have purpose to us. And it's that's where men are happy to get involved in. Because we are, men are men, and the way they are, and there's historical things with them. And they find that by a collective group of people, that they are helping each other. So it's the fact that it's not the project saying, come to us, we're going to help you. It's reversed. It's us saying to the men out there, can you help our project?
Let's bring Keith into the conversation. Keith Bradburn joins us on the show. Keith, thank you for your time. Great to see you. When did you first meet Colin and find out about the work he was doing?
I met Colin about 2.5 years ago. It's where, I'd read about man sheds and that, and I was asked to go down to Colwyn Bay to demonstrate a 3D printer, which I make my own 3D printers. And I took it down, and that's when I seen what the men were doing. And it was fantastic. The elderly men were, as Colin was saying, they help each other. They bring skills to them, even though they're skilled in their own ways, vice versa. They swap skills or they help each other. And it's fantastic. The difference it's made to people coming. Like we had a gentleman who'd had a heart attack and he ended up in a wheelchair. But his wife used to bring him to the club, drop him off and see you after. And for a couple of weeks, didn't say much, just sort of nodded and very quiet when he spoke. Could hardly hear him. 3 weeks, and he was laughing, joking. He was a new man, and even his wife said it's made a hell of a difference. And that's what it's all about. And fortunately, I'm able-bodied, but there's a lot of people there, they can't do things themselves. They just need that help and that little bit of a push. Come on, you can do it. We'll show you how to do it. And we can help each other with the skills, and we can learn from them as well, because when you're not less abled, you're not aware of their problems. I had my own company, a disability company. I used to design and manufacture electric wheelchairs for severely disabled people, children more than anything. And the pleasure I got out of being able to help them to have a normal life was tremendous. Now I'm older, now I'm 76. So my business is gone, but I want to help people that need the skills I've got, can help them.
Do you think it's important there that when you describe what people can bring to the group, that actually you're not talking about it's a scheme with clients, you're actually talking about people on equal, you're talking about parity, aren't you? That if you come, you can be elderly, you can be in a wheelchair, but actually if you've got expertise on knowledge on whatever it might be, computing or joints or anything, joinery or if you're a spark or a chippy or whoever, that actually you bring that, and then actually that's you contributing, and that's people adding value and giving value of themselves.
Exactly. So you swap and change. They help you, you help them, and that's what it's all. Plus you give them another skill. It's the world's changed. with 3D printers, for instance, we didn't have that years ago. Now you draw something, save it as an STL file, put it in the computer, so we can give them computer skills, because they bring to, how do you do that? It's like your phones now, they're so powerful, we don't use a tenth of the power of them. It's just handing those skills across and helping them when they struggle. Because it'll say, how do you do that? Can you show me? Certainly, come here and we'll show you.
Do you find people come back and they brought homework with them? Like, while I was away, I've been working on this that they've...
Not yet, because the majority of them don't have a shed. And that's the problem. So I have a good workshop. So what I do, I sort of make things, take them to the club. What do you think of that? Wow, smashing the comments about, how do you do that? How do you do that? Mm-hmm. But you can make a rod for your back. Because I made one of these monster trucks, American monster truck. Took it in. What do you think of? Wow, got mad. Said, if you want one, I'll make all the parts, you assemble it, and, and paint it, do whatever you want. So 8 of them. So I had to make 80 wheels, physically make 80 wheels, and, because there's 10 wheels to each truck. But they loved it. And they had their own ideas, and that's what it's all about. They give me ideas as much as,
Yeah, Keith, we wanted bigger wheels than this, Keith. You'll have to go back and print off 80 more. Yeah. Keith Bradburn's with us in the studio, Colin Chorley as well, the Widnes Men's Shed Project as well. People joke, don't they, about, men in their shed, tinkering. But actually, have you found, Colin, that there's value in that? That if it's like your own sort of alone time where you can go and you can tinker and you can work, and then that can be part of that social environment as well. And we shouldn't underestimate the value in, somebody going having a bit of a tinker in a shed for a few hours at a time.
No, the research underpins it. This all kicked off in about 94, 95 in Australia, when the health authority was struggling with the health of men over there. And some really intelligent person decided to say, why don't we ask the men what did they need? And the men come back and says, we need a shed to fix a lawnmower or to repair this or repair that. So they provided the funding for that, and it exploded in Australia. And it was not just the shed, not just the lawnmower. It was men coming together, having a cup of tea, killing an afternoon. And it's grew worldwide. It's all over Europe. It's across the UK. It's in Ireland. It's in Canada. And I just happen to be very fortunate to be part of the first hospice in the UK to have a man's shed. So it's unpretentious for men.
Well, I was going to say, do people ever say to you, it's supposed to be about well-being, it's supposed to be about, mental health, but actually what you're describing there are things you can do proactively to put yourself in a better place, that puts you on an even footing. Are there some people who are a bit suspicious, go, well, this doesn't tick a box that says, we had a session where somebody spoke about their their feelings for half an hour, and then we could tick a box which said that they were over their grief, or so on and so forth. What you're talking about is a social response, create an environment for people as where they can share their thoughts, and something that really genuinely does improve their mental health without ever sounding like a mental health project.
And I think that's the key. It's a lot of people are suspect of it, and a lot of people don't understand it. But when the men are working, the men are talking. And when we have the Man Friday group, the practical aspects of it, of the photography group, the allotment, the joinery and all that stuff that's going on, it builds a bond and a relationship with the men where they feel safe. Whereas in the beginning, and this is potentially a topic, it was mixed with women and men coming into the shed. And as I was working up to the side, I observed that when women come into the shed, as wonderful as they are, the men went quiet. And the men are less reluctant to talk about the feelings or to express the worries or anxieties in the company of women, because traditionally our role is to protect women in our society. So I made the decision to say we need to make our project male only. And it happened, the management was brilliant and allowed me to do it. And once that happened, it became stronger and stronger. So the workshop is split into like a workshop with joinery benches, but it also has a kitchen area. And it is there that the most powerful conversations would take place with 10 or 12 men who would sit and talk about football. And because the trust was there, they would come out with talking about the grief or the worries that's going on in their life. And I suppose it was linked to my previous work of working in schools and colleges that I was able to facilitate the conversation, not lead it, but just encourage it and keep it ticking along and keep it safe. I was very fortunate that we had a counselling department next door, so it was made up of a counselling team. And whenever I felt it was getting to the point where this is getting I'm getting out my depths here, we had an agreement that says, okay, maybe it's time to maybe have a chat to one of the people next door, the counsellors next door, and that was working. So while we talk about sheds and tools and mowers and workshops, there's something, it's a bit like counselling by stealth. It's going on, but it's going on in a male-only environment. It works then where men are more open to express themselves with males than they are with being, say, with women. I've had the conversation about equal ops and why aren't women allowed and all this stuff. We were on the process of setting it up for an afternoon a week where women come in and learn DIY. But whenever anyone's ever broached it with me and says, is there not an issue here over women not being able to attend? And I've explained why. I've never had no one disagree with me.
Well, I think finding generational responses which are right for certain generations and certain genders. Obviously, you found the experience of when you were trying to create that environment for men, and when women were involved, you weren't getting the same response. And we've had similar organisation groups, men only, who've been on Facebook and gone, well, as soon as women are allowed into the Facebook groups, men, because of the way we've been, it's DNA, it's how you've been bred, you've been indoctrinated into thinking certain things, which is, it's the fault of the man, but it's not actually that. Now is not the time to deal with those particular faults. Now the time to deal with the other things.
Yes.
And I guess once you improve mental health, once you put them in an environment where they can talk about their mental health, that actually as they return to, quote, normal society, I think they'd probably then be more open to talking with women about their mental health because they've thought, actually, I can talk to, burly, hairy backside fellas about it. So actually, I can also talk to my mum and my sister and my auntie Nora if she wants to listen to as well. So I think at those early points, I think people will understand, as long as there's also the facilities for the women as well to have their conversations, which is great too. We've got the team with us from the Men's Shed Project. We've got Colin and Keith with us in the studio. Just let us know about the geography of this one if you can, Colin. So you're doing this as a Halton Haven hospice project, and now you're looking to set up in Widnes, but you've had a couple of early sessions. Is that right?
Actually, we've been going quite a while. We started September 2017.
Right.
We're hiring rooms in St. John's Church, so that was like the base. So we've been going a couple of years now. But we mainly meet as a group that just come in and talk and chat and plan for the future, and we set each other jobs to do. And one of the main things has been to try and generate a piece of land or a workshop or a cabin of some sort. And we've hit blocks. We've just hit block after block after block. And a number of men are turning up wanting the workshop. But when we explain where we're up to, they're at a place in their life where they're not ready to sit in a room and just talk socially. They need to be able to come in and make something or strip down a pallet and work, and then it starts. So we are feeling quite frustrated with where we're at. And we feel like we're at a crossroads.
So what might a solution look like? If someone's listening to this now and thinking, well, there's a bit of land near me, does it have to have a cabin on it? Does it have to have a container on it? Does it have to have a shed on it?
Well, we've been offered porta cabins off a company in Runcorn. So ideally, a piece of land where we can put the porta cabins on. Ideally, it's got electric and possibly water. So we would be grateful of anything to enable us to set up the workbenches, because we have local builders who has offered us materials for free. We've had companies like Haxminster and Warrington who have offered us machinery, shop used machinery.
Demonstration.
So the stumbling block is having a base, and basically the men need a room measuring what?
Well, what would be ideal would be like the cabins that's been offered us was 35 feet long by 12 foot wide, but you can join three together, so you got a 35-foot square workshop with toilets, washing facilities, like that, everything in them, even the sockets in the wall, put them in.
And I've held off advertising and recruiting for members, because I'd done an afternoon in the market where they give us a stall, and I put some adverts out there, and the men just started turning up, and the phone started going. They started emailing me, and I'm linked in with Holton Borough Council and the mental health team down there, and there's men from there that they want to refer, but they need a workshop. They need to be able to come and make a cup of tea and start making stuff. It's a lot of the men that come in, they're quite comfortable to come in and just have a general social chat. So we're open to any ideas, but if you asked us what would be ideal, it would be a small piece of land where we had some electric and water. We could either bring the porta cabins to that, and we have some funds where we can get the porta cabins delivered and make our payments, and we have some money available, or a workshop, a unit.
Yeah. Where
they can sit down, make a brew, and start work.
And I guess if people are thinking, well, I've got a bit of land, but I don't want some porta cabins being dumped in it. You guys have got the skills to get them clad,
Exactly.
get the landscaping done, nice bit of fencing done as well.
Yes.
That's what you're all about, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. All the skills are there.
Well, my work separately is I do like conversions of containers, and we can clad it. And actually, it's a good point what you raised there, Mick, because if somebody was able to say you can have that land for a period of time, the men would landscape it. The men would make that place such a beautiful area because of the things they can make with benches and planters, and the gardeners that are within the group that just need to be outside working with the plants. The project would enhance the area.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you're talking about an area there which if you were to get, you're saying you're not, you're actually you're adding value to an area.
Even if it's a derelict building, if the base of the building is there, fine, we've got brickies, we've got all the skills are there within the club.
And we're not looking for this to be free, in a sense that we have been offered materials for free, and in the past at the hospice, the men would come in and make things, and they'd make two of them, and one they'd keep themselves and the other they'd give to the project, and we'd sell it. So the stuff the men were doing, and even working in the community, we had some of the staff saying, is any of the men that can help with the putting up a couple of fence panels? So the men started going out, repairing fence panels, doing a little bit of flagging repair, doing odd jobs, and the people were making donations. So that money was coming in, and ultimately there's no problem, there's no reason why we can't be self-sustaining over a period of time, where there'd be enough money coming in where we can start making contributions or making payments. But initially, to get off the ground, we need that foundation. We need a year or two to get ourselves established, and the amount of men that is out there maybe dealing with the fact that there's loneliness, there's isolation. They need something to do. They need a purpose. There's men who come to the shed who have happy family lives, and it gets them out of the house for a couple of hours. There's enough men in the city who would attend such a project to be within a mile of where they live. So there's enough men in the city where you could have 20 or 30 men's sheds right across the region.
And it's win-win-win, because
yes,
if people get involved, then you win because you got the spot. They win because the area gets this little version of regeneration, and then the men win as well because they can get out into the community and go through some of those issues and have those conversations as well. Plus, then the community improves because suddenly it's like, well, you need somebody painted, you need something fixed. Get down the men's shed. There'll be various different volunteers who will come up and help you out.
But there's the other benefits, psychological benefits, is the men have said to me in the past, this project has kept me out of hospital. This project has reduced the medication I'm taking. And the families of the men have come in and says, so-and-so, it's improved his life so much that it's benefited the family. The families get along so much better because they have an outlet and they have a purpose. And the issue of mental health, we all have mental health. It's whether you have positive or negative mental health. The purpose of the project is always to keep the man in the centre of it and to improve the mental health of that person.
If people are listening to this and thinking, I might be able to help out, I want to get involved, or I want to find out some more information, or indeed I want to offer a plot of land, what's the best thing in terms of getting in contact with you?
Please phone me or drop me an email.
Can I give out your email address?
Yes.
If that's okay. It's chorleycolin@hotmail.co.uk. That's chorleycolin at hotmail.co.uk. That's CHORLEY. Colin, spelled the usual way, at hotmail.co.uk. Thank you both for your time today. Colin Chorley, talking about the Men's Shed project. Keith Bradburn as well. Thank you for your time as well. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the programme. Thanks for joining us on Mental Health Monday. If you've been affected by any issues, or you want to look at the mental health services close to you, don't forget you can head to the Hub of Hope. That's hubofhope.co.uk. Type in your postcode or use the location on your device, and that'll find the mental health services that are close to you. That's hubofhope.co.uk.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.